Did you know that a Uganda passport holder can visit up to 38 countries without a visa?
And did you know that more than 10 nationalities can visit Uganda visa-free?
Hi there, welcome back to the African Hub with us, your hosts, Rebecca Nanzi Suna and
Navigezamu.
It's been a long time.
Omusoga oweka muli.
Mwene, should I say?
Mwene.
Yeah, so it's been a long time.
It has been a week.
It feels like a very long time, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, we are back on the African Hub and we are going to dive into all the gist that you're waiting for, all the information that you're yearning for. It is here with us.
Because yes, we promised last time we'll be coming with all sorts of information about Africa. Because here we talk about everything Africa.
Like we said,
yes,
we talk Africa. We drink Africa. We dress Africa. Everything you're going to hear on this show is Africa. That's why we are called the African Hub.
And today, exactly from right there, we are going to dive into one of the African countries. I know you should be guessing already, and that is the Pearl of Africa.
Uganda. And you talked about Pearl of Africa, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Some people always ask me, why is it called the Pearl of Africa?
It didn't come from the air, actually. A very prominent person, very well respectable, Mr. Winston Churchill, called it the Pearl of Africa. And do you know why? Because Uganda is full of diversity, endless wildlife, and the beauty of the country.
And this happened way years back. I think it was around 1908 when he came to Uganda and he's like, yes, this country is definitely the Pearl of Africa. So yes, in today's episode, we are going to be diving deep into the Pearl of Africa, where we will be telling you things that you need to know about Uganda, things that there is to love about Uganda. But before we go there, deep inside, we are going to start with the most important thing.
Yes.
The passport.
How do you come into the country?
Of course.
We know before you go into any country, first you acquire your passport and then you use it to either enter the country or exit the country. So the passport, so it is very important.
It is important. Well, as my colleague said, Rebecca, it is in a way that you cannot travel out of your country without a passport. And then you cannot enter any country without a passport. So while we are talking about Uganda, we are going to give you details about the Ugandan passport. And did you know that a Ugandan passport holder visits over more than 38 countries visa-free?
Yes.
And then there are also nationalities which can come to Uganda.
Approximately 10.
Yes.
They can come to Uganda without acquiring any visa. So just come in as if you're coming home. Oh yes, it's your home then.
Of course. Even if you're not a Ugandan, the moment you visit Uganda, it definitely becomes your home.
They will know about the Pearl thing we are talking about. Just come, you'll tell us.
Yes. So hang in there with us, ride with us on this journey as we take you through the amazing trip to Uganda. We are going to give you the details of which countries can visit Uganda visa-free. We are going to give you the list of which countries Ugandans can visit without visas and which countries can visit Uganda without visas, right?
Yes, and to spice up everything, an icing on the cake, we will tell you what you expect to find when you come to Uganda. Do you know, Zam, when you talk about that, it drives me to people, you might be Ugandan, but you don't know some things about your own country. So this show is for everybody. Even if you're Ugandan, I know you might be a Ugandan born in another country, but you want to know so much about your country. Oh, how is Uganda? How are the people? What is the food? What is the culture? So we are going to be putting the icing on the cake, telling you that more information.
And on that very note, you spoke about Ugandans who may be wondering where to get information about things in Uganda. We are telling you right with us. As today, we are going to go deep into your Ugandan culture. We are going to go deep into the Ugandan information. We are going to give you that information that you're yearning for. And as we are saying, I think we should start with Ugandans. Let us give them information about their passport, what they need to know about them,
right?
Where they can go. So, Rebecca, do you have a list of some of the countries that a Ugandan can visit without a visa?
Let me begin with Lesotho. I love Lesotho. Ghana, Angola, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, Mauritius. That is just to mention but a few.
And just as you're mentioning those countries, there are some things that our Ugandan people need to learn and understand. Most people think that because I'm in Africa, I can visit all the African countries visa-free.
That's not true.
It isn't. It isn't.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned a few countries.
Yes.
There are also other countries which most Ugandans don't consider visa-free. Did you know that Singapore, a Ugandan would visit Singapore without a visa?
That's one of the most developed countries we have in the whole world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then someone was also talking about Malaysia, Mauritius. I'm like, oh, these are countries that a Ugandan can visit without a visa.
Yeah.
Hong Kong, Indonesia. I was surprised at some of these countries. Well, if you're out there and you know any other country that a Ugandan passport holder can visit visa-free, come into the comment section, comment, and let us know some of these countries such that we can help our Ugandan brothers and sisters visit these countries and enjoy. Because I mean, people say that there is nothing as educative as traveling, and I agree with them, because the more you travel, the more things you get to learn.
Yes. And also, if in the comment section, still you can use that space to tell us the countries you went to that you had to acquire a visa, how difficult or how easy was it? Because there's some countries which just need a visa, you need to acquire a visa as a Ugandan, but still, it's not difficult. Like now when you come into Dubai, we rarely get rejected to have a visa to come to this country. So you might be there and you say, okay, I want to travel, but they mentioned only those countries. Maybe when I apply for a visa for others, they'll reject me. No.
Yeah.
Even if the country needs a visa for you to travel there, you might find that the visa process is very easy for a Ugandan. And also on the same note, we have Ugandans residing in some countries, and because they reside in those countries and they have a residence visa, then they get allowed into those countries without. Like Georgia, if you are a Ugandan and you reside in the United Arab Emirates and you have a residence visa, you don't need a visa to Georgia.
That is very true.
So you can go and experience winter.
Yes, exactly. Do they want to experience winter?
I want to talk about winter, please. You know, I don't know. It's not a shame, of course, because that's me. There are some people born in Uganda and you've never seen snow.
I've never seen snow.
You've never seen snow?
No,
I'm not alone. I can speak some truth now. Yeah, even me, myself, I've never seen snow. So you can imagine.
Yeah, most of us Ugandans, we are not having the idea of how to go out there, how to have fun, where to go to. So yes, we are saying we are going to take you through this ride where you understand the basics of Uganda. But then Rebecca, talking about traveling to Uganda, as we are going to dig into Uganda, there are some Ugandans who are watching us and may be wondering, how do I get my passport? You know, surprisingly, there are Ugandans who don't have passports.
Yeah.
I would say, how about we take them through the process of getting a passport?
Yes, and that's where I'll make a disclaimer. We are not travel consultants. We're just giving you information to help you through the journey and to understand many of the things that you didn't know. If you would like to have a consultant that is trusted, still you can give us a comment. You can contact us and we shall lead you to the licensed people for travel consultancy.
Yes.
Now, about getting a passport, is it difficult? You said it's easy already. So how easy?
Well, with my experience, I have learned that everything has been put online. I think Uganda is also one of those countries which has decided to go online. Yes. And there is a website where you can go and apply for your passport for all the Ugandans out there. And the website is www.passports.go.ug. Well,
Is it free?
Free? No.
I want free things.
My God, I want
to this extent. I want free things up to this extent.
I mean, who doesn't want a free
this
thing?
rate not allowed.
Who doesn't want a free thing? But hey, please, immigration, do not kill me. I'm not saying passports are free. No, they are not free.
That was Rebecca's word.
That was... No, we won't get there. Anyway, like you asked, many people are wondering whether these passports are free. But hell no, the passports are not free. There is an amount that you pay for the Ugandans who are in Uganda. They pay an amount of 250,000 Ugandan shillings. And we are going to leave it into Ugandan shillings since this is basically information for the Ugandans.
Acquiring a passport.
And there are different kinds of passports as well. So I'm talking about the ordinary passport. As all the other passports, they have all their regulations on how to get them. But now we are talking about an ordinary passport for an ordinary Ugandan like me.
I'm going to ask you the steps to apply the passport, but I have a scenario.
Yes.
When we were applying for ours, my family is here. So when we were applying for ours, we paid for express.
Okay.
And then when we reached there,
Yes.
the gentleman of the passport office told me that you didn't even have to apply for Express because yours is coming from Uganda. So we paid Express, but we got it as quick as a regular person. So because even the regular guys, the ones who paid regular, still received the passport at the same time.
All right. Since you're talking about a Ugandan who is here, I don't know, should I start with that? Ugandans who are here?
Maybe.
Okay, well, we're talking about Ugandans who are in the diaspora. I will talk about the UAE because that is where I reside.
Yep.
Now, it has been a little bit complicated because of the information going on out there. Remember, there is a phasing out of the old dark blue passport, where we are going to the East African blue passport, and then the most current passport, which is, I think, carbon something.
As shown on the screen.
Yeah, as shown on the screen. I think it is carbon. There is a new one which we are getting these days. Now, what is happening is there is a process. The process is pretty much the same until some level. So I'll take you through that.
Please.
Now, when you open that website, the www.passports.go.ug, it gives you different pages. And one of them is apply for a passport, a new one, new application. So when you click on the new application, it gives you all kinds of, it wants to take as much information from you as possible. Because as we know, so many people, Uganda is the Pearl of Africa, like we said. So there is a possibility of people wanting to take a Ugandan passport. So the government has kind of put in measures to make sure that this passport is only acquired by a Ugandan.
Which is the right thing to do, actually.
Exactly. So what is happening is you're asked a lot of questions. They will ask you about your family background. They will ask you about your tribe. They will ask you about the language. And surprisingly, when I went for the interview at the embassy, I realized that the gentleman, the immigration officer, I think, I don't know, maybe they brought him knowing that he has that touch to it. The guy kind of speaks all languages.
He can tell. By the way, he can tell because I was there for my interview myself. I had done an error, which I would ask when you're applying for a passport online. Please be sure where you want to be interviewed from. Because for me, my family put in Abu Dhabi, and then when it came to me, I just wanted to do it by myself, quickly, and I put interviewing place Uganda on that appointment day. So when I came in there, I was like, they were like, do you have an interview today? I was like, yes, I do have an interview. And they're like, oh yes, you do have one, but in Uganda. So my God, how am I supposed to be traveling to Uganda at this time?
Yes.
But he was so helpful.
Okay.
The passport officer, I just said kudos to you because you were very, very helpful. He said, okay, because you've come with your family, because I had gone with my husband, my 2 children, and everybody's like busy. You know how kids can be. But then he was very helpful. He changed that somehow and gave me the interview. So don't make the same mistake I did because you might not be as lucky.
Well, like I was saying, the entire process asks you questions. While you go into the website, they will ask you questions before they get your application approved. And one of the questions is, where do you want to be interviewed? Okay. So you have to make sure that, okay, if I'm in Abu Dhabi, you select Abu Dhabi.
If you're in UAE.
If in UAE, you select Abu Dhabi. Then people who are outside, there is, I think, maybe London, those ones who are outside of Uganda. Then Uganda has different cities as well. But now let us talk about the UAE, because that I have a lot of information about, and that is where we are.
And for all other information, I think we can call forth one of the passport officer to give us that information. Yes, they will come and
give us more information about that. But then now, for people who are in the UAE, it so happens that after you fill in all this information, make sure, of course, don't be like Rebecca. Make sure that you put in Abu Dhabi.
Know where you live. Remember where you live.
Yes. So as you fill in Abu Dhabi, then you'll have to make a payment. And now this payment has 2 options. It's either you pay online or bank counter. Now, this kind of disturbs people because Uganda, we don't have banks here. And some people end up paying in the banks here. I met someone one time and they told me, I went to Bank of Baroda in Abu Dhabi and then I paid for my passport, which doesn't apply in the actual says.
You could think it's fine because it's Bank of Baroda, Bank of Baroda, then why
not? And we have it on the application as well.
Really?
We have Standard Chartered Bank. And because Standard Chartered Bank is here, people tend to think that it is okay. They can go to a Standard Chartered.
I'll just go in.
Exactly.
So they receive the money anyway.
No, they don't.
Okay, because I thought they take my money and then after they can't help.
So here is the thing. If you want to pay for your passport application, make sure that if you've selected over the counter, try to find someone back home to help you do that payment. Because what you have to do is the system is not integrated with the UAE banks. It is only the Ugandan banks. So whichever bank you select, make sure that you have someone who is
The
back
branch
home
in Uganda.
in Uganda.
Not
You have
any
to-
other country.
No, not any other
As
country.
per now.
The payment has to be done in Uganda. Then there is online payment. People can use their MasterCards to make the payment.
I think we use that.
Yeah, and then there is also mobile money.
Oh, mobile money as
Yes,
well? I
it
didn't
is
know
also,
that.
it comes under the online payment.
Oh, really?
Yes. So people who select online payments
Amazing.
and you don't know how to use, or maybe you don't have a bank card, the MasterCard or the debit card or whatever card it is. If you don't have that, you can do the mobile money payment. So what you do, you select the usual *185#. There is a space where there is pay taxes because this falls under taxes.
Yeah.
And then when you reach at URA, there is it's a section where you put in PRN.
Yep.
So when you select PRN, your application, when you finish the application on the website, they send you that application and it comes with PRN numbers. These PRNs are the ones you enter into your mobile money and then you do the payment.
Done.
So usually when you're done with the payment, people be like, okay, now I'm done with the payment. What is next? You have to schedule an appointment.
That's it. Do
Yes.
we have some appointments like now? Like right now?
No.
Are they? Because I had someone. Yeah. I was speaking to someone and
Yeah.
she's telling me there's no more appointments. I was like, because mine, I remember we had to wait for 2 months. Mine was like 2 months for the appointment because it was full. But then now someone told me they don't have appointments anymore
This is what is happening.
until further notice.
This is what is happening. While gathering all this kind of information, I
Yeah.
learned a few things. Given the fact that, do you know how many Ugandans are in the UAE?
I didn't know until now. But
Do you know that
Ugandan
there are
is.
over 100,000 Ugandans in the
We
UAE?
are over. Yes, I know we are.
Now, with this kind of number, we are now
The
being
traffic is a
told.
lot, yeah.
We are now being told that if you're having the old passport, you cannot go back home.
That's
what do you
true.
expect? The numbers are going to
So
fly.
everybody is going to.
I'm not putting this on the immigration offices.
Yeah.
I'm also putting this back to us as Ugandans. Imagine we've been told to change the passports, I think for the last 3 or 4 years.
I'm a Ugandan. I know what we do.
Yeah, we want to do those
until the
things
last
that-
time.
Yes.
Nobody's moving her feet. Until
So what is
you can't go
happening
back home
now-
and you'll be like, oh my God, I have to go next week.
Exactly. Now, this is what is happening. They're
Yes.
like, okay, now I have to go to my vacation next month.
So
but I don't-
everybody lines up from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. The queue is Ugandan looking for passport.
And then remember, this thing is system generated, right?
I get it.
There has to be a number that
And
they
the
can
online
attend to.
system, yeah.
Yes, there has to be they have to make sure the information they're feeding in the system is correct.
yeah.
So they cannot rush anything. So you may find that a day they cannot do passports which are more than 60 or so.
True.
They cannot work with over 60 people. Now, what can we do? I will advise any Ugandan out there, if you're planning on traveling, say December, make sure that you have your passport ready.
Yes.
6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months away. Don't wait for the last minute to get your passport because, hey, you will not be able to get it on time. You were talking about the interviews.
Yeah.
What happens is the system only gives you 3 months. So within these 3 months, if
Yeah.
the slots are all full, you will not be able to schedule an appointment.
Okay. Possible.
So what is happening is at this particular moment,
Yes.
if we are in April, right?
Yeah,
So
we
if
are.
April is full, May is full, June is full, that means July will not open.
Okay. So that means you have to wait. You have to try every day.
You have to try
Because
like
maybe
every
someone
day.
backs out and then you can take the opportunity.
Not even backing out. Say, for
Yeah.
example, today we are talking on a Saturday, right?
Yep.
Now, let's assume we are talking on a Monday. Now, if it is a Monday and you're making your application on a Monday, it means on a Monday, the office is are working on some people.
Yes.
Now, when they offload those people who applied, who had an interview on a Monday, it means some slots open. So you just have to make
Okay.
sure that I'm checking
Every
it all the
single
time.
day.
Now, what happens is there are people who are lucky. I mean, I may be here filling in my application today.
Yes.
Then immediately I click on schedule appointment.
There
Boom,
is.
there is a slot.
Can
And
you
then someone
do
will be
that
like,
while we're on the
I've been
show?
waiting for my slot for the
Yeah.
last 3 months. I'm not getting it. For the last 2 months, I'm not getting a slot. What is happening is, given the number, if you look at you talked about the immigration officer.
Yeah.
Man, kudos to that gentleman there.
He's so helpful.
Yeah, he is.
Myself, I witnessed him and I can say very helpful. Actually, one of the girls, oh my God, I wish I could remember her name. That girl gave my daughter some juice because she was frustrated
must be
and
Mariam.
tired. Maybe her name is Maria. She's so
Yeah.
nice. She gave my child some passion fruit and I think I remember drinking it by myself and I was like, okay, she's a child. I know
She's a
she'll-
sweetheart. Mariam, kudos to you. You work at the embassy and you're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
Keep on doing the good thing that
Guys,
you
keep
do.
on being nice. Because if you're not nice, I'll come and say it. I'll come and say it.
The immigration officer,
But they are
that's
doing
Mr.
great.
Mr. Amil Kawijamo.
Yes,
He's also
very
doing an
humble.
amazing job. And last time I visited the embassy, I had some girls who needed some emergency documents. And we kind of got there late. I mean, the gentleman stayed in office up to 8 p.m. I'm like, okay, what are you still doing in office at 8 p.m.?
He's
like,
helping
okay,
you.
how can I leave when these people are here? They've come to do their passports and then the
Did
system
I hear
was
you
slow.
talking about emergency document?
Yes,
Is this the free one but 200 dirham one? Please, I want to hear more.
We are going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then after talking about the passport, I'll take you through the emergency document.
By
It is
the way,
something that everyone is talking about right now.
we need to hear that. But how many embassies do we have in UAE, by the way?
As a Ugandan?
Yes.
Okay, there is one embassy.
I heard of the Dubai one. What happened?
It is a consulate.
Dubai Consulate.
Yes.
But
so there are two. There is the Abu Dhabi embassy. That is the Uganda embassy, which is in Abu Dhabi. And then in the last episode, I told you I work with the community. So you may be wondering where I have all this kind of information.
That's why I'm asking you a lot of questions, because now we have you. Munanga, we need to find out.
Is during the Dubai Expo, there was a liaison office which was being used in Jumeirah, and being that we had always asked for the government to give us a consulate, as we all know that Abu Dhabi is only a small part of the UAE,
and it's
most
not so
of the
near if you're coming from Dubai. It will be a long time on the road.
Not just Dubai. If you look at people coming from all these other Emirates, if you look at Fujairah, if you look at Al Ain, Sharjah, it is all nearer to Dubai. So we were always pushing the embassy, asking that they please give us a consulate in Dubai. Which they did.
Maybe did they do, or I should ask them nicely? Okay, I was going to prepare myself and say, please,
yes,
government.
we have a consulate which is in Jumeirah.
Okay.
However, we're still having people complaining that the consulate is not yet active.
What does it do? What does it not do? Because you said embassy and consulate. We need to know.
We will have to invite people who are in that doctorate. Well, I don't want to cross that line.
Thank you. Because if you give me information now and tomorrow is different, I will not be easy on you.
There. So what we will do, we will invite gentlemen. We are kindly calling upon the ambassador of the Republic of Uganda. We will have to host him here such that he will be able to give us all
You're requesting him on a show.
Yes,
live.
I'm requesting him live. We will have to host him such that he can give us more of this information. Okay. We will also at one point invite the immigration officer, Mr. Amil Kawijamo, to come on this show and give detailed information about this passport. Because, hey, I'm just talking about it, but I'm not the right person to give you all the right information.
So that means if anyone has some questions, they can feel free to put in the comment section. Guys, don't worry. Any question you have of whatever kind, as long as it's about Uganda, please keep it in the comment section. So when these guys come, because I'm sure they're gonna come, when His Excellence comes, the ambassador, when the representative of the immigration comes, they'll be able to answer all those questions. So that's the time to put them in the comment section now.
Yes, we were talking about the consulate. So what is happening with the consulate is that if we say it is not working, it is because it is not working from our point of view as Ugandans who are in the UAE. Because what are we looking at? We are looking at these consular services. If we have an office which is doing passports in Dubai, then that is amazing. Last time we had people about NIRA. That would be another entirely different talk where we do NIRA. And NIRA, this is... Ugandans know it, nanga muntu thing. So that one will also be something that, well, if it is put at the consulate, people will appreciate it because, hey, it gives us enough time.
Okay, since we've talked about it and we've called upon them to come and answer the questions, so I think we can end there with the passports. How do you see?
It would be okay. Maybe we can tell them that they have to pay for the Ugandans. Like I said, Ugandans who are back in Uganda, they pay 250. The Ugandans who are in the UAE pay... Sorry, not 150, 250.
Yes.
And then the Ugandans in the UAE pay 260. The 10,000 is for the transportation.
For the transportation,
yes,
which is reasonable.
And honestly, after you get your interview, you can easily get the passport. Because after the interview, I think it is 1 to 2 weeks.
My whole family.
As long as you're done with the interview.
Okay, so you promised me that 200 thing. The free document, and then after the sunrise,
free and the not free.
Free but not free. What happened?
So what is happening is actually, let me just say this out.
Yes.
I was checking out on the comments
Yes.
of the show that we did, the first show that we had.
Yes.
One gentleman came out and said like, "Hey, Madam Nabiezam, you're finally on social media. Big up to you, Obote. Yes, I am, and I hope you're watching me again.
Yes.
And thank you so much for the
Salute.
feedback. Salute." So what is happening is this. I think we need to be able to give people more information, because I was looking on social media and I was seeing the kind of information that is spreading out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it is good to be equipped with information. Ugandans, let's learn this. It is good to get information from the right sources.
Now they have
do
us.
not just
Now you
run-
have us, yeah.
Do not just follow on the bandwagon
true.
without analyzing the kind of information you're sharing out there, especially people who have huge followings. As long as you know that you're being followed, kindly give the information that is going to be beneficial to the
But
community.
not to worry, now we are here. If
Yes,
you have
we will
any questions, we will
just
be
ask
answering
us
you the
and
way
then
it
we'll be
is.
giving you
Yeah,
the
you don't
answers.
expect any wrong information from here.
Okay, back to the document, which was free
Yeah,
and
that
then not free.
document is 200, it is free. Which is which?
All right, so there is a document which is
Yes.
called the emergency travel
The
document.
famous document.
So this emergency travel document, as the name suggests, it's
Yeah.
an emergency travel document. You
Okay.
only use it in emergency situations. For example, if you've lost your passport, you can use it. If your passport has expired and then you're in a rush of going home and there is no way you can have a passport there, and then you use it. In this situation now, we call it emergency because the black passport has been phased out. You cannot enter the country without it.
Okay.
So now you have to use the emergency
That's the
document.
only option you
What
have.
does it entail? This is a document which is recognized by immigration all around the world, as long as it's coming from your embassy. It is considered by all immigrations all around the world as it takes the space of a passport. You use it the same way you would use a passport.
I think I've heard about, I'm sorry to cut you short because I really, really want to hear this. I've heard of a scenario where, is it the same document used if you give birth to a child before they have a passport, you want to take them out of the country?
It is.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
That
for those
is
of
why
you
we
who are
call
asking.
it the emergency travel document. You want to take your child back home, but you cannot wait for them to get a passport.
Yeah.
They give them an emergency travel document.
Okay.
Now, this document has become way too popular these days.
How
'cause of
much is the document? Let me go straight to the point. How much is this one? To
the
begin with.
document for the last 5 years that I've been into leadership,
Yes.
we've been getting this document at 200 dirhams.
Okay. So
I was surprised when I had someone coming to tell us that the document is
maybe
free.
he was going to sponsor us for the next 1 month. You know, people are nice. And we are in Ramadan.
Yeah, and we are
someone
in
might
Ramadan.
say free when you come.
Well,
contact me.
honestly, for all the time that I've been
It was a
doing
slip of a
emergency
tongue,
travel,
we
it
should
must
say.
have been maybe a slip of a
Bam,
tongue.
It
I'm
was
not
a nice
certain.
one. I wish I was there to not to pay anything.
But I just
If
wish
I
someone can
needed
come
it.
up. I think we will invite Mr. Amil from the embassy to come out on air and clarify this, because it has like gone out of hand for the
Ah, it is
Ugandans who are
popular,
in the
me, I'll
UAE.
tell you.
Yes, it is.
Where I work.
Everyone is talking about it. This money is being taken by the embassy. This money is not for the immigration. Why are they asking for the money? I think it is kind of
You
causing
know, and the money you had to work for, you know, it cannot be such a simple thing. But
and it is 200, my friend.
Yeah.
200 is not some
Can
small
do
money.
a
That
lot.
it is not 20. I mean, even 20 dirhams is not
if
something
you convert
can
to the
joke around with.
Ugandan money, you know, Zam, by the way,
Rebecca, we are still on the African half. My
people who convert people, viewers who convert dirham money to Ugandan, you will never buy anything.
Someone tells you. You tell the person, okay, this one is 100 dirhams.
I say, wait a bit, Zam, as you've talked about embassies and consulates, I know there are so many people who are watching from other countries, like other countries in the Gulf, and they would like to know where they should go for consulate and embassy services. Do you have some information at least about that as well?
That's a good question, Rebecca.
Yes.
Do you know that sometimes we receive calls from girls who are in Saudi Arabia asking us about information?
I can imagine, yeah.
I mean, there is an embassy in Saudi Arabia. It is in Riyadh, actually. And the same services that we are getting here, I think they're the same services that they are offering at the Saudi embassy. This is a disclaimer. I'm not so sure about that. You may find that maybe we have the system here, the passport system, and maybe they don't have it in Saudi Arabia. But in case they don't have it in Saudi Arabia, the embassy will be able to give a solution to that. So if you're there in Saudi Arabia and you need any information in regards to your passport, you need any information in regards to getting an emergency travel document, the right place to visit is the embassy in Riyadh. And then also within the GCC, there is Kuwait. There is an embassy, a Ugandan embassy in Kuwait.
Wow, that's good.
No, sorry, in Qatar. Kuwait, they don't have an embassy.
Oh, so they
Qatar.
have to go to, but it's not so much far from.
For
the
that,
distance is
I'm not so certain. And like I said earlier on, we are going to invite the gentleman from the immigration officer. Some of the questions you're asking me, honestly, well, I want to be having some information about things, but they are that information.
It's good to
that
hear
you
from
can,
the horse's mouth.
Yes. So we will have to invite him, and he will give us details about some of these countries, how they cooperate. If someone is in Bahrain and they don't have an embassy, how do they get these kind of services? What are the requirements for them to get these passports? I've seen some passports coming through Abu Dhabi going to some of these GCC countries.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you may find that maybe if a country has no embassy, you would find that they will send your passport to the nearest embassy, and then that embassy will forward it to you. So it is kind of, there is a lot of information there, but this information needs to be verified by an immigration officer. So we will invite the immigration officer to come and verify for us all this kind of information.
That's a promise. We will definitely do that.
Yes, we will. Yeah. Well, and then on top of that, I think there is one thing that is very, very important for people to note. There are so many young girls who are giving birth in the UAE. Okay, not even young, even the grown-up ladies. I mean, you hear...
There's no young girl giving birth.
Rebecca.
By the time you give birth, you're not young anymore. Okay, they are ladies. We can say...
Should we say ladies?
There are some ladies.
Okay, everyone who is in the stage of giving birth. So if you find yourself in a country where, like UAE, you give birth from here. I've seen girls who are giving birth here, and they don't even know that if you give birth to your child, you can go to the embassy and you get a document for this child. They are having kids here who are undocumented.
There's a fright, and they don't know that they are eligible to get
exactly. You don't need to have your kid here undocumented or anywhere outside of your country undocumented, because the embassies and these missions provide us with these services. Go to your nearest mission, go to the embassies, go to the consulates, and get all this kind of information. It is very vital to get a lot of information, as much information as you can collect about your country, especially in this kind of times. Now, imagine a situation where you have a kid, this kid falls sick, and then maybe you have an emergency back home, you need to go home, but the kid has no passport, you cannot travel with them. And also, the other thing that I would like us to talk about also in respect to passports, there are also people who are not just children, but adolescents, people, me and you, who are out there and they don't have these kind of documents. Probably your passport. Exactly.
What do you mean?
Like people who are like us.
Us who sang a salon passy. Yes,
who are out there and they do not have passports. One, it could have been stolen. It could have been misplaced. Anything. But if you're out there and you don't have a passport, I mean, how can you be in a foreign country without your passport?
Some passports are confiscated.
Yeah, some passports are confiscated.
What do you do if your passport is taken by someone? I mean, because last I knew, no one is supposed to hold your passport.
True.
We are going to come here and tell you some serious things, by the way. So you stay tuned, because there are some people who are watching us and they're in that kind of scenario. The passport was confiscated by someone called a boss. The boss wange yagitwala. So there's somewhere they can go through the right way to get the passport back or to get assistance.
Rebecca, on that note, I will just say slightly about it, then we will come back and dive into it in details. But just slightly, now that you mentioned it, confiscating a passport and your passport being kept by your boss, these are two different things. We need not mix them.
Not on consent.
Yes.
Not on the owner's consent.
Yes. There are situations where, I'll give you an example. When I first came here, I was working with a security company, and our passports were being held by these security companies.
We will talk about it, I think.
And for them, the reason they were giving us was really, really valid, because just now we are talking about lost passports.
Yes.
There are situations where, us girls or boys, people can get into fights and anything can happen. I don't like that girl, Rebecca. What can I do to hurt her?
I would confiscate the passport.
Not confiscate,
make
steal
them
it,
suffer.
Such that she suffers because she has not made me angry. Now, if a company comes in and like, okay, now you guys, you're in one room, you're sharing this accommodation, this passport is a very important document. So for it to be safe, we would rather keep it for you at the office.
I would help you keep it. Not by force, but as a thought for your safety.
Yes. So I think this is something that we should accept.
Okay.
Because it's
I
for
think
our own benefit.
I would give mine if it wasn't by force.
Exactly.
As you've mentioned.
Yes.
Because keeping it with me when I'm in.
There is that confiscation part.
Yeah.
Now, the confiscation is not done by employers in most cases. There is that talk that we will have about the domestic workers. We will have that talk some other time. It
because
will
it's
probably
still
not
us
be today.
Ugandans.
Yes, it is still
time.
us.
Yeah.
But leave alone the domestic employees. Okay, employees who have the maids, the chamber boys, the drivers, and all that kind of thing. There are people who also confiscate other people's passports when they actually have no right whatsoever to take it. I'm the one who brought you to the UAE, so because I brought you to the UAE, I have a right to your passport. Hell no. You do not have a right to my passport simply because you brought me to the UAE. What even gives you that right?
That would be a long talk, I can
that
see.
Would be
so we should prepare one whole show for it.
Yes, that will be for
and
that.
It will be
and
very
we
good.
Will invite people who also have much more information about this, who will tell these Ugandans here where to report all this kind of information. If you're in this kind of situation, how do you go about it? We will invite people on the show who will be able to give us that detailed information such that a person who is watching this understands that, hey, my passport cannot be taken. But hey, what if it has been taken and you have nothing to do about it?
It's already taken, yeah.
What is the solution? That is where we go back now to the emergency travel
So we
document.
shall talk about that in detail, and now you see the reason why you should be watching the African Hub, because we'll come up with all that kind of information. I know we have a lot to say. There's a lot to say, and I know you might be having something you want to share with us now. As we've mentioned, please keep that comment section busy. Tell us every kind of question that we have. Here we are going to be truthful, and we promise you and we guarantee you first-hand information, correct information. Where we give you information and you feel like it's not right, or maybe later on something changes, we will still come back here and give you more information. So now I think we should be letting you go.
Well, before we say goodbye to them, there is something that we haven't talked about.
Yes.
Today. Talk about Sophia International.
Sophia International Group is another company which I said I work for.
Yes.
And what we specialize in is B2B and B2G. B2B in a sense that we link up companies which want to collaborate with other companies. For example, you're looking for a service and you want someone to give you that service. We help you find the right person to give you that service. And for B2G is where we link businesses to governments. We all know governments need services. Precisely governments in Africa. We know African governments needs a lot of services, maybe because now we are in development phase.
Yes.
An African government might be looking for someone to help them with the railway construction, electric construction. So what we do, we get these prominent service providers, the best, and we bring them to Africa. We build Africa. Africa glows, and that's who we are.
And we are the African Hub. So, of course, we need to talk about all these kind of services that are offered. Now, someone was on this comment section, and then they were asking about Shaika International Group. That's why I asked that we talk about these companies. Because someone would be like, hey, what is Sophia International Group? They are talking about it. What is Shaika International Group? Shaika International Group, like we always tell you, it is a company which handles a number of things. Last time we only talked about the customization, but we are detailed. We do a number of activities. We do events management. And some of the events that we do is the African Football Tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, and this year we are going to be having the second annual, because it happens annually. So this is a tournament which brings together all the African countries, like people who are sports lovers.
Yes.
We have this tournament where we invite people from all over Africa.
Even if you're not a sports lover, but you're coming from an African country, you might want to come and see how your country is performing.
Yeah, last
it's
year,
for everybody.
Ghana won. All the way from West Africa.
How did they pass Uganda? What did we not do?
Ghana was good.
Okay.
They really did an amazing job. I think, and then Burundi was in number 2, and then Uganda came 3rd. So this event happens towards the end of the year. It is usually between November and December.
Yeah.
So what we do is bringing people together. While we are talking about investments, while we are talking about trade, while we are talking about tourism, we also need to involve the diaspora. Like in today's show, we were mainly talking about the diaspora, how best they can live their life here. Because with this diaspora, we get to build our countries, we get to develop them. Because if you look at the amounts of money that we send back home, it kinds of makes us important too. So yes, the diaspora is one of that area that we want to concentrate on most. And while how best to bring them together other than sports? I mean, people
together,
are sports lovers.
yeah, and the events, as you've said, maybe one time we'll have an event for everybody. Come meet each other in one place,
and have fun. Yep, I think other than that, what else do? We call. We also have tours and travel within Sheikha, and while we are talking about these countries, we can help you visit all these countries. You could be there wondering, how can I visit Uganda? How can I visit UAE? How can I visit all these other countries? Sheikha International Group, they will giving you all the numbers on the screen. You will get the numbers, and then you can get in touch with them. And yes, that is all about that.
Yes, and before we go,
the customization.
Mokwan, so you customize as per the client's specification or requirement.
If you want a wedding, we do the suits. I mean, if you want uniforms for your hospital, if you want uniforms for your schools, if you want uniforms for your whatever it is that you want to get uniforms for your company, we do all these kind of things.
So to contact us is simple. Their contacts are running by this or through the screen now. You can contact us through our numbers or our email addresses, and we shall be able to come back to you. Now, on that note, for those of you who would like to get your brand known by our viewers, you would come to us in a sponsorship form.
Yes.
Come, sponsor this show. Let us know how we can help you, and then we shall be able to broadcast your brand, your service beyond you can even imagine.
Which better way to advertise your company than doing it with the African Hub? I mean, we are the African Hub. Just bring your brands here. Let us advertise them. Let us put them out there for the world to know them. Because, hey, this is the African Hub, and this is what we do.
And when we talk, our listeners, our viewers listen. So you're guaranteed of the return.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment.
And
don't forget to share as much as possible. Yeah. We love you so much. I remain Zamuna Abidie.
And Rebecca Nanziri Suna. Until next time.
Bye-bye.